What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Vinny D for your weekly Call of Duty World War II Leaderboards update, PlayStation Network. For anybody new to the channel, this is an unofficial website of what a true leaderboard should be looking like without boosters or cheaters. If you think you rank in the 100, this is the cleanest thing you're going to find outside of the console. For the guys that have been following me and want to know where your ranks are, you know how this thing works. Let's jump right into it. Let's go over the current week. As I said, everything's on the website. This is going to be provided by Friday so you guys can access it. I'm just tweaking some last minute things. This is what it's going to be looking like. Obviously, we could jump to the previous weeks here and see from the start how you've grown, you know, what kind of trends are going on. I'll be recapping the current weeks as I do for every video. Not much change in the top two. However, big changes to come. You know, DooMTheRace, P-Hami, still 1 and 2. No change from last week. Biggest thing here is Diablo at number 3. Another 4 days put in. Last week 4 days, 3.7 million points this week. This is obviously last week's totals. I explained that in my tutorial video. This is what you put in this week. 3.7 million points. You know, you've got maybe one guy at 2 million, everybody hovers around 1.5 million, but nobody's even close to 3.7 million. So if you clearly look here, he's going to bounce them. He probably has already. It's currently Wednesday afternoon. He was only a mil off here. You know, whether he's playing on his own, whether he's got a couple of guys, it's a business. Hey, that's you know, that's his business. I just bring the numbers to you guys. I've seen some crazy grind over the years. I mean, I've seen guys pissing in Gatorade bottles not to get up even between intermissions. So anything's possible, guys. I just need to bring that out right now, that Diablo will, you know, will take over number 1 and will be hard to catch because the number 1 thing is his SPM is improved. If you could see here, his SPM is a 421. First week we started this, you know, he was a rank 21. If we just go over and look at this, I'm in the first week right now. Let's just take a look. He's over here. This is the first week we started. You know, look at his SPM is 324. So clearly improved on the SPM. And that's the biggest change right now I'll be covering, is that SPMs are becoming a huge factor for gaining ground, not just time played. Looking over here at number 6, Baz Attack. I mean, again, great SPM, you know, 500 plus elite. However, you know, the time's not there. You got to put in the time at this point. The 500,000 weeks will not cut it anymore in the top 10. It won't even cut it anymore in the top 30. OnlineBully, here's somebody who's been trending upwards every week, been on the board for 6 weeks, 1.5 million points, you know, 534 SPM, great example. You know, a day and a half. This is standard. It's hard for everybody to put in 2 days. I mean, it's hard for even guys to put in 1 day. But this is the top 10, and it's really cutthroat, guys. As you can see here, the time being put in, strong SPMs, big numbers. So it's competitive. It's very competitive, and nobody's basically holding back. Lead Dom over here, number 11. Somebody else who, you know, a day in 16 hours, 1.5 million score, trending upwards. Good to see. When I remember when I first started this, I said if to crack the top 10 and hold ground, you need between 800,000 and a million points a week to hold ground. That is not the case anymore. You are looking now to need to hit 1.5 million, you know, to hold ground in the top 10, even top 15. SPMs are improving, as you can see every week. SPMs are going up here, all the top guys, and that's normal. You know, finding what maps work for you, finding what game modes work for you, you know, finding god lobbies, newer players coming in at Christmas time. So really it's cutthroat. I'll say it again, for the top 15, harder and harder to move up, but you know, still very competitive and great to see. Jumping down from 16 to 32, you'll see there's not as much 1 million point eclipsing over here. Now we start hitting guys that are a little bit under 1 million, a little bit harder to move up, like I explained. You know, if you're sub 400 from 16 to 32, if you're sub 400 SPM, it's very hard now to move up by big chunks every week. You know, if we look over here at Space Bounce, iQxN, you know, both very similar stats, almost 2 days played. SPMs are hovering around, you know, around 400, actually at 400, 1.3 million points each. And look at the jump, they jumped 1 spot each. So that's just to go to show you how strong 1 to 15 is going right now. Very hard to move up. And if we look at the guys with lower SPMs who put in time, Sully 96 at 22, and we have at 29 Armin over here, lower SPMs, 278, 301. Sure, they're putting in monster weeks, 2 days, 20 hours played, but now you see the cut down, 1.1 million points, you know, 1.3 million points. Still, they're moving up, but at a slower rate now. Sully was, moving up in chunks, and all of a sudden you plateau, you hit that top 20, top 15. Very, very hard to gain ground. So that's an example of how tight it is right now in the top 20. If you think you're going to make your push, you need to work your SPMs, you need to find your game modes, and look. That's why I created these sites. Look to see what guys above you are doing. Go back onto your previous weeks, see if the guy has a pattern going on, how much time he's putting in, DLC content coming out. Is that going to make a change? So that's it for 1 to 30 right now. Is it's going to be interesting to see. I don't see much shuffling going around. If you could see here, the weeks on board, everybody's been here for 6 weeks since we started. Everybody's holding ground, so very, very competitive. From 32 to 50, here is where you see the drop off. You'll see it's rare that you see the 1 million point mark. 400,000, 800,000. Not many guys at a million points anymore. Why? SPMs go down. Either they have higher SPMs and lower playtime, or they have lower SPMs and higher playtime, which is still slow. I mean, if we look at we bring them up every week, NGA over here at a 5633 SPM, 1.5 million points. Yes, he did jump 115. However, once he hits that 30 point mark, that 30 rank, he's not going to move up as quickly, even with that kind of what kind of SPM he's got going on. The biggest jump right now is over here. Kanaki, he was 85, he's at 47 now. Why? 2 days, 22 hours played, 1.6 million points. Again, from 32 to 50, guys that hit a million will move up, but his SPM is kind of lower. So he will, he's going to hit around the 30 rank and kind of slow down. That's going to be normal, but I mean, needless to say, he's putting in the grind, he's putting into the time. And the 50 point mark is where now you start seeing the drop off. 50 down. We'll just go back up here. Actually, everybody always asks me, K3, I know he started to stream again now. Looks like he's putting in the time and pushing, and he's been silent for the last couple of weeks. Put in 5 hours last week, 154,000. But he's, as always, he's dangerous. I mean, this guy could decide to go on a massive stream and bang out 10-12 hours and just climb up real quickly. When you hit guys that are 500 plus SPM who put in big hours, they're the ones that are going to end up on top in the end. So thought I'd bring that up. From 50 downwards, you'll start to see the SPM drop off. Really, here's where the SPM drop off is. The 400s are a little bit more rare. You see the guys that they're putting in the time, but it's really hard to crack a million when your SPM is under 350. Can be done, it just takes a lot more effort and a lot more time being put in. And you'll also see that a lot of the guys that have been ranked for 6 weeks trending downwards, like Blood Mask over here, Smoke AK, no time played this week, Grand Jeep, no time played, General, no time played. This could just be 1 week, but there's not much room for to make mistakes in the top 100. You stop playing for a week and you're gonna you'll drop fairly quickly. So I like to see, I'm rooting for the guys to stick on the board for as long as you can. That's why the weeks on board for me is very important. At the end of the game, I will keep an eye and say, hey man, this guy's been on the board for like 50 weeks. It's crazy, it's very hard to hold ground. So 55, 57, and 52, Straight Killer, Ketchup, and Saddam. These are perfect examples of, good time, good SPM, but right now they're just kind of stuck in limbo. How it's going to change, it's very hard for, again, even at this point where 500,000 is just not good enough right now. So this is the, the middle tier. There still could be work done. There still could be effort. You still could move up. But again, you just need to get your 1 million points in. I need to emphasize on it because it's going to be harder and harder to really trend upwards. Nobody at the top is slowing down. If we look from 70 down, it's the same thing every week. This is where guys who pretty much have either stopped playing, playing less, the guys moving into the leaderboards, you'll see a lot of the trends going downwards, the arrows going down. It's just under 500,000 points now is not even going to hold ground in the top, from 50 to 100. Very, very hard. So this week we had 8 new players jump into the top 100. Like I explained to you, when it says NR over here, they weren't ranked in the 100. Now they are. That means they jumped in. Previously, guys, you know, I've been doing this now, it's almost 2 months. There's always around 15, 18 guys creep into the 100. Now we're down to 8. What does that mean? Guys at the top are not slowing down. Guys are jumping into the 100. It's for a reason. They want to crack the leaderboards. They want to sit up there, and they're not, you know, they're not letting off. So that's about it for this week. I mean, again, the website, I will be providing a link. You guys could go back and take a look at it. It's 99% done. I just got to fix some domain stuff, but you guys be smart on how you know, how to use it and how to, like, you know, look at your competition and see where you're at and see where you're going. You know, this is here for you to look at previous weeks, find a guy, check his trends out, check his SPM. You know, what are they doing? Do you need to change your game modes? Do you need to put in more time? This is the best I could do. Again, you know, subscribe, you know, get the word out on these boards. I put in a lot of effort to try and bring you guys great content. There will be no new stuff added. This is just phase 1. I promise you on, you know, great things to come, just one step at a time. So that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I'll be updating the video with a link, and, you know, push this week. Enjoy the week, have fun, and I'll speak to you guys soon.